Hello, welcome back. We're on video 4 where we're going to take the mesh displacement and turn it into a mesh that we can use in our scene. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see the entire thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn this flat plane into something we can actually use in our scene. Not that we couldn't use this, it's just it's still going to look weird. So we're going to turn it and go a little bit farther with this and go into the plane, P-plane shape 1. I do want to go one step further with this. You can look at both to see what it looks like. So let's start with 4, okay? And look at what we have, okay? So, and we're going to go up to change this into a mesh. Then we're going to go into Arnold and go into Utilities and click on Bake Selected Geometry. And we're going to go ahead and place this where we had it before. And as you can see, I've got another file in here. So I'm going to call this Rock Displays 01 and test. And this will be medium. Okay, so save that out. And at the bottom it'll tell you when it's finished. Okay, and then we're gonna move this up to 5 iterations. Make sure you hit the return key and then go into make sure it's selected, go into Arnold and go into Bake Selected Geometry. And this one is going to be high. See the difference between the two? Alright. Save that one. Alright, that looks good. So when it says it's exported the geometry successfully, it'll let you know at the bottom. And we're going to zoom out just a little bit so we can give ourselves some room. And I don't really need this anymore. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to kind of put it in a layer and just get rid of it that way. Go into File, Import, Option box, and make sure I select OBJ, Import, Desktop, and looks like it's in here. So let's go medium. Okay, ooh, there it is. So you can see that. That's what medium looks like. And this is the resolution that we have with it. Okay, and that is going to be something like maybe 100,000. Well, excuse me, 204,000. Okay, 204,800. Still okay. I mean, you can still render that in your scene pretty quickly, and it looks great. I mean, it's gonna show shadows perfectly. You don't want to overdo it. You can easily get it up into the millions. So there's that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that down, and bring in the other one. So import the other one, and this is the high one. Okay. So what we're doing is we're looking at this. This is 1,000,000. Okay, and is it going to show us any more definition than the one we already have? So let's bring them close together. And it does a little bit. You can see that there is a little bit more detail, but is it worth 1,000,000 polygons? You see what I'm saying? So you just kind of got to make those decisions. And sometimes the textures are so good, like the rock texture that we're going to place on here is so good that we could probably get away with, you know, um, the 204,000, and this one's 800,000. So we get about just about 4 times as much. So, or 3 times as much. So we're looking at a very little difference in the two, as you can see. Just a little bit, you know, a little bit, not much. So, yeah. And then if we add the height map on it, it'll look good. So let's get rid of the 800,000, and let's just kind of fixate on the smaller one. Let's go ahead and get that back down to 0. Alright, so we definitely want a texture on there. So let's go ahead and right click over it and add existing material, which is going to be our rock texture. Now we don't want to have a double on the displacement map because we've already got it displaced in real time or on a mesh, so we don't need it anymore. So let's go into our setup here, and let's go ahead and get rid of the displacement map. Okay, so just grab it, pull it away, and just go ahead and get rid of that portion. There we go, and the rest is good. So now I didn't have to really get rid of anything else. We've got our color in there. Let's go ahead and close that, and now we got a real mesh, and get up a little bit closer like this, and go ahead and render a full render. There we go. Okay, so you guys can see super potential on this because we're getting we have a real mesh that's been displaced and basically is now a mesh that we can alter and change and do whatever we want with. And we've got the all the maps on here, so it's ready to go, and it's ready to go into your scene, and you can do some really cool stuff with this. Like bottoms of houses. Be careful though, because we're talking about a lot of resolution here, and it will slow your computer down. But this is a great way to do a couple things, like you could do some rocks or some ground pieces or a cliff that you couldn't normally do before, because normal maps cannot do this. They can't show shadows like this. They can't pop out like bricks. So you could have a brick walkway that looks really super good. Now, normal maps are wonderful. They are great, but I would say, for stuff that is no more than a half an inch deep. So if you want rocks that stick up 2 or 3 inches, normal maps are not going to do it for you. So putting them both together with a height map, and then on top of that, creating a mesh, wow, I mean, that really looks realistic. And so you're getting some really great shadows, and it looks wonderful. So you can keep it as a flat plane, and it'll displace just fine and render just fine, but you will have some render artifacts, like because it just cannot handle a cube. Like if you put it on if there's an edge or something, it really has a hard time handling that, and so you'll have to do some experimentation. But anyway, this is how you do it, and you're good to go. And I hope you got something from this, and like the video, please.